Today's guest is a woman who truly stands for what she believes in. An introverted extrovert who would rather spend time with the dogs than with people. She brings real insights on dealing with rejection and once also sang in front of Michael Jackson. But before all this, I want to say a huge thank you to our host, Parliament Square Coffee, for allowing us to film here. But enough of all this, let's get into the episode. So Leanne, with everything you've worked hard to achieve, is there someone from your upbringing you feel you're doing it for, as well as yourself?
Oh, yeah, 100%. My daughter, Leanne. Yeah, she's 19 now. I think, I know people say this all the time, but she changed my life when I had her. And I think it's probably in a way that it gives you purpose. So she gave me a purpose. She gave me like a reason to make me want to go out and be a better person, really, even from the day she was born. So yeah.
That's lovely.
It's all about her.
Can we go into then your family, like your upbringing? What was that like with your mum and dad?
Yeah. So long ago now. Let me think back. You know, for me now, it's not that when I look back on my childhood, it was great. I got an older brother, just my mum and dad, and lots of holidays. I remember going to Portugal for the first time when we were 6. Well, I was 6, sorry. And that was at a time when you went on holiday for 2 weeks and people came on a Wednesday and then they saved the whole week and then they left and the new arrivals came on a Wednesday in the coach. Yeah, but now you go on holiday and people come at different times of the day and it's harder to get to know people, isn't it? When you go on holiday.
Connections with people,
So that was kind of a memory growing up. But yeah, no, really good childhood, happy. But I do have I have more, I think, so I'll hear a song, so I love music, love listening to songs. I'll hear a song on the radio and it just puts me in a time and place in my childhood. So we've got a big extended family, so I've got lots of aunties and uncles and cousins, and it just like a song will take me right back to my nan's back garden with all my cousins round, or in the back of the car with my mum and dad, we've been out for the day. And I remember long, hot summers. I remember as a kid, school summer holidays lasting, that 6 weeks lasted forever, whereas now when you're older, you blink and they're gone. So, yeah.
It's mad though, isn't it? Because music, it just allows us to remember back to these times.
Music and smells. I'll smell like someone's aftershave or perfume, and it just, it can either be a good memory or a bad memory,
it
depending,
with you, doesn't it? No
yeah.
matter how long ago it was, how many years it was.
Yeah.
That moment, you remember it because of either music or smell or an experience.
Yeah. And I grew up in the 80s as well, and what a time to be alive that was. I was born in 1980, the year of the monkey. I don't know why I just said that, but it was. But I just didn't appreciate, I didn't appreciate the 80s and the 90s even till I've gotten older, and I've looked, all the films are brilliant, the music, everything's original. And it's only now that I think, wow, and I'm more appreciative of...
We're trying to recreate the 80s and 90s, basically, in films and music, but that's where all the best artists...
Definitely the originality.
Actors,
definitely, I agree.
Actresses. Now, you said to me as well, staying around your upbringing, you said, had talent, but didn't know what to do with it. Can we touch on this?
Yeah, so So my mum and dad are both tone deaf, cannot sing to save their lives, and I don't think they'll mind me saying that, to be honest with you. And I think I was about 10. And I think it was, my dad used to run a football team and he was doing a football presentation. They had a karaoke on in the pub where it was, and I got up and I sang Patsy Cline. My mum used to sit us on the counter and play all these old songs and that, and I'd sing along, and everyone was like, wow, that kid can sing. And I think it started there.
Like it installed in you? Did you hear from others and think like...
No, so I knew I could sing, but I was only young, so I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. And then as I got older, my mum and dad just had no idea what to do with me. They had no idea of the industry at that point, who did, going back to like late 80s, early 90s. And they just didn't know what to do with me. And it was only as I got older and I left school and I went into singing, dancing and acting then, drama. I left school and went to drama school and then left there after a year because I joined a group. I met people in that college then and joined a group, and that's kind of where the singing side took off.
Does it annoy you that I would maybe say there wasn't like the industry didn't help you, but also there wasn't enough opportunities at the time where like today we've got social media at our fingertips for everyone to show what they're capable of, or there's groups or there's clubs even, like I know singing, but there's still, was that not as common?
it's so different now. So you'd have to be spotted years ago, or A&R would come round, and when we were in the group we done like a talent show, a showcase, and A&R come round to see us. But before that, if you think about, like, we used to read the smash hits when we were younger. People like Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince, they were only in them programmes. They were like gods. You couldn't touch them. But now, you know, Beyonce, she's probably the only superstar, unpopular opinion, superstar level. Yeah. She probably is, isn't she?
Yeah.
And still Madonna's going and that, but you can actually message them on Instagram. They might never see it, but they're accessible.
And you can
We'd
see
have to
in their
read
life,
about, or watch them on the TV when they'd release a music video. They weren't real, but everybody and everything's just accessible now, isn't it? It's just of a different time now. Whether, if you'd have put me into this day and age, would I have had the confidence or whatever to stand outside and busk like some people do? Or, and you know they were doing it then, but it's different now, isn't it?
But even busking now to then, you can stream it live. And
exactly.
You'll get people, say it was in town, you had people in the street, but then you'd also have so many, many 100,000, how many it is.
Yeah,
as
and
well,
YouTube and putting yourself on Instagram platforms.
Do you wish that that was around when you were growing up, or do you actually think, no, that wasn't needed?
If I was who I am now, then but I didn't have that inner confidence then, so I don't think I would have put myself out there in that position then, because although I'm quite, you know, once you get to know me, I'm a confident person, I'll gab the leg off anybody. But I'm also quite shy, and I don't think a lot of people realise that. And when I was in the group and we used to do interviews and stuff like that, and I'd always be the one in the background who was always just dead quiet, but behind the scenes was the loud, crazy one. So
but that's like you saying you're an introverted
That's exactly
extrovert,
what that means, yeah.
But that might just be, you might take more time to get to know a person, or, you know, get comfortable with a person, or trust is a huge part of it.
Yeah, and I do, and I'm kind of like very guarded when I first meet people that I don't know, or and I sit and observe and not judge, but we all judge, it's human nature, but just work the situation out, work the person out. I'm quite, believe it or not, and I can't believe I'm actually doing this because I'm quite a private person. So
I know that it's mad, but people like to tell the stories. People like to give value, because that's what you'll be able to do.
Yeah, and everyone's got a story, haven't they?
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Before we touch on your going into your singing and being in a band, what would you say school was like, secondary school? Like you said to me, you're a clever kid. What was it like?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mad situation because I was very clever as a kid. My dad was teaching me to read at the age of 3. Like, I was like a Matilda.
Was he pushing? Like,
no, he was never a pushy parent, but my dad's like a wise old owl. He'll go to, you know them birds there, do you know, blah, blah, and he'll come out with some like useless but just interesting facts. Yeah, he knows everything. And he doesn't read. He's just, he's like self-educated. So I don't know how he knows stuff like that, but he taught me to read. He used to sit down with the Liverpool Echo, my mum said, and sit, and I was picking up things like really fast. And by the end of junior school, so I went to the local junior school round by our house, and by the end of that it was quite clear that I had musical talent and I was clever. So they applied for me to go to a school that specialised in music, and I got in, and I went to that school, and all my friends had gone to the feeder school from there, and I was the only one who went to that school. And then you got to move from your comfort zone, haven't you, in that school, and move to a big school where you don't know no one and fit in.
Like you said, you don't know no one.
And being the introverted extrovert that I am, you're either too much or not enough.
Did it take time to bond and build connections with people?
Yeah, and at first you figure out your circle, don't you, and you're friends with them, and then you move and you flip.
I do think it's hard though anyway, because you just, so many people you just put into a school with other people and you're made to be friends with them, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Now when we leave school, we go into the real world, we find our people.
You find your people,
Like, I'm not saying people don't keep the friends from childhood, but more times out of 10, you actually lose touch. And it's mad,
I grew, as I said before as well, I had a lot of cousins and I grew up around them. Apart from my older brother, I had 3 very close cousins who were just similar age to me as well. And I was like a tomboy. I grew up around them. We used to go to like in Netherley in the marshland areas there, and we just go off for the day. And these are the times before phones, and you'd have to just go and then be back when they told you. And
that'd be lovely,
I was thrown in the bath with them, so there was 4 of us, me and the 3 lads in the bath with them. But they were the good old days. People don't like germs anymore, do they? That sounds ancient.
So yeah, back to secondary school then. What was that like? What
Yeah,
was
so it was good. And so going back to that, so I was very clever. And then I don't know what happened. I think I done really well. I started doing really well in my music. I think I got the highest grades in the country once for my violin.
Wow.
And then it all went pear-shaped. And I think what it was is I was put on a bit of a pedestal by my parents of this, you know, she was dead cute. She was lovely, lovely little thing.
Like perfect in a way.
Yeah, and she's dead clever and she's just going places.
No error.
And I used to have people saying it all the time. And, oh, she's so clever and she's so talented and this, that and the other. And I grew fed up with it and I lost interest. And by the time I left school, I think I left school with like 4 GCSEs in crazy subjects. It was like home economics, German. I don't like to cook and I've been to Germany a handful of times. So none of them have come in handy. And I just wanted to sing, dance and act. I kind of rebelled against that image of perfection, shall we say. And I wasn't... I didn't want to be that person. I got fed up of it's a hard thing to live up to. And then where's the only place from up there? It's down, isn't it?
Yes, from the top.
Yeah. Once you're there, the only way is down. So to sustain
do you think you was
that.
getting too much positive, not feedback, but like too much like, oh, Leanne's amazing, Leanne's... I
think just sustaining it around that age of a teenager, growing up, when you just want to go out with your mates or do whatever it is you want to do. It's that point, isn't it, where you're either got to make that sacrifice at that age when you don't really understand why you're making that sacrifice. You've probably seen it with footballers and stuff like that. It's a make or break age, isn't it?
You see it with all people in performing arts, in sports,
that kind of industry, it is mainly that, isn't it? Because most people just leave school, go to uni, get drunk for a few years and that's that. But that is the time you have to put in the graft.
And you don't have a life outside of that, basically.
Yeah, and my parents didn't understand at all about it. And to be deadly honest with you, I was a law unto myself, and I still am. I do listen a bit more now, but if I wasn't doing it, then I wasn't doing it. So if I said I'm stopping to play the violin, then there was nothing they were doing about it. Okay. So I can't blame them. I blame myself totally.
Yeah, because if you don't want to do something, no matter
I'm not doing it. Nobody,
stern a parent is, you can't.
Even now though, if I'm not, ask my friends, ask anybody. If I'm not doing something, I'm not doing it.
But that's a good. I would say, if you think about it, that's a good way to be, because we only have one go at life, don't we? Yeah. So use your time wisely, because it's so valuable. So even though people might think, oh, why is she not, if she's so stern about what she wants to do, but in retrospect, you're actually just being clever by using your time right and being around the people you want to be, experiencing the things you want to experience. Yeah. Like, you don't get FOMO. I think too many people just get FOMO.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Once or twice, but it doesn't last long.
People want to follow, don't they?
Follow and see what, because they're there and oh God, no.
Like they'll miss out on something.
I know what I like, especially now I'm older, but I've always been like that. I know what I like and I do what I like, and I'm not going to do what I don't like. I didn't drink till I was 20, didn't have a drop of alcohol till I was 20. I was terrified of it. I'd seen loads of people drunk, falling over, and I just thought to myself, how is that going to affect me? And then, you had friends and I think the drink at the time when I was younger was Mad Dog 2020, and they'd go out and drink. And I'd go and then just go home, and I never touched it. And I'll never forget the first time I got drunk. I was 20. I was at one of my friends' engagement parties, the local social club. And that was fun. But I don't regret not drinking before then. It was just the right time for me.
Perfect. So then let's touch on your music career, shall we say? What was
or lack of.
What was this band you were in?
So when I was studying drama in college when I left school. And while I was there in the first year, I met Leon Lopez. He's very successful now. He was in Brookside, successful director now. And he was forming a band with a girl called Vicky, and a girl, I'd better call her Victoria because she'll go mad if I call her Vicky, she hates that, and Dominique. And we were called Six Loves Nine. Make your own mind up on the interpretation of what that name means to you. Okay. I'm not going to go into that. And we were good. We were really, really good. And we were before, like, if we're going to do a comparison, we were in Mystique, kind of. So, you know, Alicia, so for anyone who probably doesn't remember back then, is it Alicia who does is the Britain's Got Talent? What's her second name?
Alicia.
I can't remember the second name,
I know
but
what you
her,
mean.
yeah.
I think people should know.
She was
Or
like,
search it up. Yeah.
Enter, she does that, doesn't she? Alicia, yeah. So we were kind of like that group.
Yeah.
She done the rapping in it, and Dominique, who we had in our group, done the rapping as well. And we were really, really good, yeah. We were really so close to getting a record deal, and it never happened for whatever reason. We'd had an A&R come out, someone offered us £1 million contract, and it fell through. I think Dominique wanted to leave and do other stuff, and it just fell through. I had a tragedy that happened in my life. I become a bit disinterested at that point. Dominique left, we got someone else in, and as I say, something happened in my life, and then I left the group then. So they went on for a little while. I think they got other members in, but
do you wish you ever stayed on?
Yeah. I don't like to regret things in life. As I've got older, I don't like to say I regret. I like to say I made a mistake and this is what I've learned from it. Because at that time, that was absolutely what I wanted to do. As I said before, you can't make me do anything. So at that time, that's what I wanted to do. Sometimes you do things and then you look back and think, that was a stupid mistake. But you've just got to take the lesson out of it, haven't you?
Were you confident while you were in the group, or like you said,
No, I suffered terribly from stage fright.
Really?
Yeah. And even still to this day, just before I get on stage, I forget the lines completely and I have to get the first line in my head so it doesn't go.
Why do you think that is? Is it the people in there, or is it just the moment in the moment of like the pressure maybe?
It's one of the most vulnerable positions you can put yourself in, as to stand on the stage. Not so much in the group because you had the support. So if you miss a line, you've got the cover of the other two. If you stand on your own as a solo artist and you forget your lines, or you do something wrong, or it's just you and a sea of faces and eyes staring and judging and deciding whether they like you or not.
Because that's all they are actually doing.
Yeah, because it's art, isn't it? And we go to art galleries, we look at, fashion, whatever, or the form of art. I like that, I don't like that. And that's exactly what it is. How many songs have you heard, didn't like that? Or their voice is awful. So as an artist, it's a vulnerable position that you're putting yourself in.
And must be really hard.
Yeah.
So obviously you touched on it a tiny bit, but at the time when you were splitting from a group, obviously a tragic incident happened. We okay to talk on this?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. So it's 23 years ago this year. So I was with my boyfriend at the time. We'd been together for 3 years, and he had a fatal accident on a motorbike and passed away tragically during that time. So obviously that just changed the course of my life.
I know, it must have been a huge shock.
Yeah, I was 21, he was 22. I just got a phone call. I was in work. I was working in my mum's shop at the time, just helping her out hairdressers. She got a phone call. His name was Carl. I was his brother, and he just said to me, Carl's dead or Carl's dying. I can't remember which one he said. And I just... You
must have thought he was messing or something? Because...
No, I knew the tone in his voice. Okay. The tone in his voice. I'd seen him earlier on in the morning. He was staying in his auntie's house, and I'd rung him and he didn't answer, and where she lived was not far from where my mum's shop was at that time. So I thought, we weren't that busy. So my mum was actually in Marbella at that time. She was on holiday with a friend for a weekend. I think the friend had gone to look at buying a place over there or something. So I went round and knocked on the door, and he was asleep on the couch, and he had blue eyes, and he woke up and he looked at me, and his eyes were the deepest blue I've ever seen. And I remember saying to him, God, your eyes are like so blue today. That's like the strangest, they've like changed colour or something. And that was the last time I seen him alive.
Do you think that's mad, knowing or having so much vivid detail of like the last time you saw him?
Yeah. And it's just something that stood out to me of the day that he died.
Of the awful incident that happened, that just maybe in your brain it carried on playing that and brought it with you, because you've basically written a story of like that day of what happened.
Have I noted that? But was that's something else at play? I don't know. We'll never know, I suppose, will we?
You also said this changed my outlook that everyone's gonna leave. So what I get from that, it must have been tough as your age, especially. I don't know, was it one of your first losses? And obviously as your boyfriend at the time, when you were that age, you would never It would never come into your mind that
No,
you think
I
that
was
would happen.
21, he was 22. He's exactly a year older than me. And at 21, you think you're invincible, don't you? You just don't think about death or...
No, you don't.
Or,
it doesn't come into your mind at
no,
all.
you just don't think about nothing like that. You've got loads of time on your hands, and I find it, I'm quite hard to trust people anyway, so it takes a while for me to build a friendship or whatever, because I am guarded with my personal life and everything around that. So it was a bit like, well, if he can go like that, anyone can go. So my circle became even tighter around after it. And yeah, it was just...
Do you think you were doing that as being able to just, if anything did happen again, you'd be able to deal with it better because you wouldn't be shocked? Protecting your heart.
I was protecting myself and protecting my heart, and I still do now. Find it really hard to let people in. And I'm a loyal person, so if I give that person loyalty and that gets broken, I know that's a bit different from someone dying. You couldn't help that, obviously. It hurts my heart.
Yeah, it does,
and I find it hard to come back from that.
It's like getting stabbed in the back in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, and I do find it really hard to come back from that. I've got a small circle. I always have had a small circle, and that's the way I like it, to be honest.
So then, obviously, I assume it must have been really hard to even think about meeting anyone after this, but did that ever come to terms in the future? What happened further down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I was only 21. Obviously, in the future, I was going to, we didn't have no kids. I was obviously going to meet someone else at some point. I may never, but I think on the balance of probabilities, I was going to meet somebody else. I'll tell you a little bit of a funny story about that. My nan, my dad's mum, has always been a funny one. She's straight. She's passed now, God love her. But she was just straight down the line, no like hard, no sympathy. And I remember her saying, I can laugh now because it was 23 years ago, but at the time you can imagine my nan says to me, oh, there's plenty more fish in the sea,
At the time that happened.
But my granddad passed a couple of years before my nan actually did, and when he did, I remember laughing and joking and said, oh, there's plenty more fish in the sea, like she's nearly 80 odd years of age, but got her back. But obviously, as I say, you can laugh now. But no, not at the time. You don't. My world ended, shattered, went with him. I had love for someone that no longer existed. And the one thing I've got from it is that he died mine. And, he died loving me. And I'll always have that in my heart. Lovely, so, yeah.
If we fast forward, did you meet anyone later down the line?
I mean, yeah, there was I had a few little, you meet people, it's like when you go out to meet people, you talk, you take numbers, some things last a couple of weeks, some things last a couple of months, it just is what it is. But I think it was about 18 months later, I met my daughter's dad.
What was this
dad.
like?
And
how did this happen?
Oh, goodness me. There was a club called Baby Blue at the Albert Dock. It was one of the best times of my life, that club. There was just, if I could go back to a day, it would be a Sunday night at Baby Blue. It was one of the best places ever. And I now know that he'd only just, I think he joined Liverpool a couple of years before, signed for Liverpool a couple of years before, but he only moved in I think it was August or September, something like that. And this was the October. So me and my cousin Miguel, we'd gone to a normal standard night out at Baby Blue. You never know what was going to happen when you went to that club, but it was always fun, let me tell you. And I'm so glad that video phone things weren't out then, because
it was probably better,
it's all locked
isn't
up
it?
there.
And nobody can send you down the line.
And we just had Polaroid cameras, so you just have to accept what was going to be when you went and got them developed.
Got lost now.
I've still got a few of them. We keep them hidden. So going back to that, I'd actually seen him on a good few occasions, and he'd never paid a blind bit of notice to me. And at that time, I was young, I was in my prime. I think I was 22, and you get attention off different players and stuff, and whatever. But he wasn't paying a blind bit of notice to me, and that piqued my interest. Thinking, what's up with him?
It's the ones that don't actually pay attention.
Yeah, and then. One day I seen him dancing, and I thought, oh my God, he can dance. And it's quite impressive. But I mean, can dance. So I was like, that's impressive. So this one particular night, and I think it was the 5th occasion of him being in the same place, I walks past and he says to me, I was going to the toilet, and he says, where are you going? Are you going home in his broken English? And I said, no, I'm going to the toilet. He said, oh, okay. So when I come back through, he just smiled and that and whatever. And then a bit later, he came over and he was like, what I thought he said, you come home with me. And I said, no. But what he has meant to say was, can I take you home to like drop me off?
Because obviously his English wasn't great,
So I said, no, I've got a lift, blah, blah, blah. Because I think Miguel was driving that night. And so he said, do you have a phone number? And I was like, but I remember at the time I had this like crappy old phone. I was like, I'm not pulling that out. So I gave him the house number.
Yeah.
We had house phones back then. And that was that. Goes home and I'd had a couple to drink. So I remember my bedroom door burst open the next morning. It was my mum. Phone. And I was like, oh, what? Get out. She went, I don't know, I don't know, someone selling something or whatever. 9:30 he rang me.
Wow.
And he was like, I meet you today. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know if I want to go. What do we do? So I'm ringing around my friends like, what do we do? And he'd said, you meet me at 2:00. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Got to 4:00 and I was still deciding what I was going to do. And he rang me back, said, you're not coming, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, goes 3 hours late. And that was that. Within 2 weeks, that was his girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah. And the rest was history.
And then fast forward, you said you had a daughter with him.
Yeah.
Can we touch on that?
Yeah.
So how pivotal has your daughter been in your life?
Oh, just, you know what? I always say about Leona, anyone who meets Leona, to meet Leona is to love Leona. She's just a ray of sunshine. Like I'm bigging her up like she's perfect. She's not, but she's perfect for me. But she is. The energy, she would just brighten your day up. And everyone says that about her. She's just so positive.
Does she have a confidence maybe that you never had?
She does. She has that thing. I think she's taken the best parts of me and him. Leona's dad's got this aura about him, so when he walks into a room, he kind of commands attention without doing anything.
Like you can feel it,
yeah.
Like when certain people walk in the room.
He's just got this thing about him, and I think she gets that from him. So going back to what I want to do, where I wanted to sing, I think I lacked that as a person, and I think she's got that. She's got that side of him.
Installed that in her though as well, because
probably, yeah,
like teaching her from an early age to
because of being brutally honest with Leona about my life. So I've always told her where I've gone wrong and what my faults are. So she's probably grown up. It's naturally in her, but I've pumped her full of confidence. Like always fed to her confidence. That's what I've always tried to do as a mum.
But that's amazing though, because you just said you've been really honest with your daughter through her full upbringing.
Yeah.
So loads of parents aren't, and there's like they've a mum and a daughter or son have got a good connection, but they're not fully honest with each other.
Yeah.
That's really powerful that you were able to be so open with your daughter.
It builds trust.
Yeah.
It builds trust. It builds confidence. It helps it. I mean, with her being a girl as well, to understand my life will help her understand herself a bit more in the choices that she makes, and understand maybe why I'm in the positions I've been in life. And Leona's always been really emotionally intelligent as well from a young age. We spent a lot of time travelling from when she was younger, from hotel to hotel, watching her dad play football and stuff like that, and taking it over to see him after the relationship had ended. And I think she just, I don't want to say grow up fast, because she's still in ways very immature. She still sleeps with a teddy that she got when she was 3. And I don't want to embarrass her at all, but she would admit it anyway. She's got this childlike innocence to her, but so mature at the same time. And I do think that's from she had to kind of fit around my life when we were younger, because I was a single mum growing up with her. You know, if I had to go to the shops at 8:00 in the night, she was in the trolley with me. And we'd done a lot of travelling when we were younger, and I don't think it done her no harm. I think, that's nothing against the parents who had the kids in bed at 6:00, but she did work around my life. And
well, that, even though obviously we'll touch on what it was like being a single mum, but just from you saying that, I see a positive as you got to spend so much time actually together. So you were like, in a way, stuck side by side.
Yeah, it's always just been me and her. And she didn't go to nursery, nothing like that, till she was 3 in the school that she went to. It was a private school at the time, and they had a nursery. And because she'd just always been with me, and even when I went on nights out and stuff, it was only my mum who could mind her. My dad couldn't mind her. My cousin tried to mind her once, and she'd just like projectile vomit everywhere. We'd have to get her to sleep before I went out. Yeah, so she was just so clingy as a baby. So when I did put it into school at 3, she done like, I think it was 2 mornings at first, and I was expecting kick-offs. And she turned around and went to me and was gone. And I was like, and it was me, I was heartbroken. And by the end of that month, I think she was doing like 5 full days in school from 3, and she went right through then and left.
That must have been hard,
sixth form. It was heartbreaking thinking.
It must have been weird for you to like be like, where is she? Like,
yeah. And then I got fully used to it and it was great.
But what was it? Let's touch on, what was it like being a single parent? Was it tough? What was it like? Or did you enjoy it?
I've enjoyed every minute of it. For me, and I can only speak for myself.
Yeah, because everyone's different.
Yeah. Leona's dad has lived abroad most of the time, so it's been either me taking her over to see him, he's come here, or my parents have taken her to see him. So, and he's basically left most of the decisions in her upbringing to me, and he's trusted me totally with her. His family is from the Reunion Island, so it's not like I've even had to share of a weekend or anything like that. So I've had total responsibility for her. And partly to do with the fact that she was a really good child. She just slept at night. She didn't even have a light on or telly in a room or nothing like that. She wouldn't get into, I wouldn't allow her in my bed or nothing like that because I didn't want to make a rod for my own back. She was never naughty. I never had to tell her off in public or anything like that. She was like perfect. So I think the only problem that I ever had with her was she wouldn't sit down when she was eating. She was like a little monkey. She'd get up and run around and you'd just be chasing her. That was the only issue. She's just, and I used to think as well, if I'd have had more kids, but would they have been naughty then? Because she was just so good.
You just wanted
But I think, I had a horrible
child.
pregnancy. I was sick every day till 8 months. And then the labour, let's not even talk about that. So maybe I was blessed with a good child after going through that. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
So it was a running theme from our conversation, and we talked about rejection quite a bit. Not just when people hear rejection, they think just relationships. Obviously, we can talk about that if you want to, but also in careers, just in life in general. So how's rejection been a part of your life, and how have you come to deal with it? Not
very well. Over the years, I've had to learn how to deal with it, and I think as you get older and more wiser, you do get more. Things come easier to you. But that was another thing, and I think that was part of being a singer as well, as the rejection or being told no. I just didn't deal with too well at all. I don't know why. But I would brood on it, and relationships has probably been the worst one, when relationships have ended or other situations in relationships. As I was saying to you earlier on, when I trust, and then when the loyalty's gone, because that works in relationships as well as friendships, it hurts. And I don't know, maybe I had they talk about when you're a child and you have different attachment styles to your parents, don't you? And I think, that's another thing, because when I was growing up, I was very clingy with my mum. I remember going through a phase of not wanting to go to school. She had to coax me in with a present. I remember, and one time she was going on a night out and I was running down the street after her because I was terrified she wasn't going to come back. So maybe that all leads from childhood. I don't know why.
Issue, in a way, it's a trust issue. Yeah.
And what I have done, I've even had it with the dogs. I mean, I know I'm a lover of dogs, aren't I? I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point.
But we saw one of them at the beginning.
Yeah,
anyway.
And I had a dog. He was my soulmate, and when he passed, again, that was another attachment issue. So I've had to learn.
You build a connection, especially, so if we're talking about people, you build such a connection with them, or an animal, you build such a bond, don't you?
Yeah.
And when that's gone, you feel hurt, don't you?
Yeah, and the empty space, I think, and habits you build up. I think that's one of the things, is then breaking a habit. Like if someone's there every day of your life for so many years or whatever, or a dog or anything, and it goes, it's then what to do with them. Things that you used to do. But I've learned myself how to love with detachment. I don't know how I've done it, but and it's still an ongoing process. I don't think it's something
I don't think you can never not get over it, because especially a rejection from people, or when you were talking about your music career, it's on someone's opinion, so you really think about what they thought of you because
Yeah.
of the rejection, don't you?
I think a lot of it as well is to do with self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem, and that's something that I have lacked, I think, throughout the years. And again, to look at me, people probably would think I was the most confident person in the world. I'm not. I haven't been. Until recent years, and I think that's helped with my career as I've built my career, and I went back to uni and done stuff and I built my esteem up and my self-confidence back up step by step and brick by brick. And obviously getting older, you have more wisdom. You start learning to love who you are a lot more naturally, I think. But you're setting boundaries, better boundaries with people because
you don't really care about what others' opinion are as well as you get older.
I just think you have to be a little bit selfish sometimes in life, and I don't think it's selfish to love yourself first.
No, of course not.
And put yourself, and I don't mean selfish as in I'm not doing that for you because blah, blah, blah. I just mean if you can't love yourself first, you don't have the capacity. Well, I don't think others can love you the way you want to be loved if you don't love yourself. You set the standard, don't you? So if I love myself this way and you're not doing it, then I can go, well, I'm not accepting that because
But how can anybody ever love you if you don't love yourself?
Exactly.
Because they wouldn't know how to love you or what to love you for.
So you show a person, I think you show a person how to love you.
Yeah.
And I think that does come from self-esteem, and that is something that I have really had to work on, self-love and self-esteem.
Okay. Well, I think that'll be really beneficial to some people, like giving them tips.
Yeah.
Because everyone goes through it.
Yeah.
Young or old, you could be 10, you could be 60.
Yeah.
But we all go through rejection.
Building that self-confidence back up. I mean, you've got to do whatever it takes to do that. It's different for everybody, isn't it?
100%. So let's go on to your career. It's a good segue onto your career.
Yeah. It seems like my life is just one event has brought on the next event, and I'm sure that is probably how
it works.
Yeah. After Carl had died, going back again before I'd met Leona's dad, I was questioning life as to be expected. And I've always been a naturally inquisitive type of person, so I am a bit investigative as well, so I notice things, details, and I can judge people really quickly, and sometimes I've got it wrong. I'll admit to that. Not a lot, but sometimes I do get it wrong, and I'll hold my hands up if I do. But even situations, and I'm hyper aware. So I decided to do a course on psychology. So I went to St. Helens College, and I think I'd done like I don't know, it was just a college course in, I think it was social sciences. And I'd done a year there, and I really enjoyed it. It opened my mind, and I love anything like that, mysteries and deep into the mind, what's going on, why are people doing what they're doing. And then I met Leona's dad, and that got put. I was still singing at this time as well, because me cousin's got a production company, so I was doing bits for him, singing in shows and stuff like that. So that was all running along at that same time. And I met Leona's dad, and that kind of got put on the back burner, as to be expected, because he'd not long joined Liverpool. I think he was only 19. I was a couple of years older than him. And his career just took off then. So it kind of got put on the back burner. We moved to Spain when Leona was a baby. I was there for a while with him. And then that relationship ended, and we moved back. And I'm forever grateful, because I got to spend Leona's early years throughout school being there for her, every day being at home. And I always swore that I would never miss anything that Leona done, as in shows, performances, anything she done, because my mum and dad were workaholics, and when I was ever doing anything when I was younger, it's always my nan there, or...
But you love the presence of your parents there. It's
so
special,
you see kids, they look out for the mum and dad, don't they? And they're like, look at me.
It gives them a boost of whatever.
Yeah, and again, that is not to have a go at my parents. It's their first time of doing life. They were earning money to take us on holiday.
They were still providing for you. That's what they thought
the best thing to do was,
Of course.
But to me, and I just thought, right, I'll never miss a thing, and that provided, obviously provided, and it provided me the opportunity to never miss a thing, and I never have. And even now, when she does shows, when she was in sixth form, one half of her class done a show, and I had to go to the day, the night one, I had to go to all of hers, but even had to go to her friends' ones. So it was like, you've got to come and see my friends too. So I'm like the biggest supporter on the sideline. Even in netball matches, I was at all the away ones, like, get stuck in. Yeah.
But I've just lost thought as well before we go into your career further down the line.
Yeah.
I obviously said at the beginning about Michael Jackson. How did this... Okay, I can't say that at the beginning and leave that out.
You want to go back to that now?
Let's go back to that.
So that was during that time. That was
Was that around that time?
I'm trying to think whether that was before Carl died or after he died. And I think it was after. No, it might have been before. I think it was 2001. He died in 2002, so I think it was before. And my cousin, as I told you, he's a dancer and he's done really well and he's got his own dance school together and he had a production company and if he could be anyone, if he could morph into anyone, it would be Michael Jackson. So he was part of the MJ fan club and at that time, Michael Jackson was going through a dispute with Sony, his record label, and he was doing like a Sony demonstration in London. And Miguel says to all the dance school, we've got this performance, it's the MJ fan club, there's loads of different people from different dance schools doing it. But apparently Michael Jackson's going to be there because he's in London. And Miguel is like... So we'd all just go, yeah, because he's a bit of like an exaggerator. Again, he won't mind me saying that, but, you know, he adds P's and Q's onto everything. And we were all like, yeah, okay, whatever. So it's me, of course, on the stage with two other people, a girl called Sarah and a lad called Jonathan, and we're singing Human Nature and we're doing the little harmonies. And the stage is like set like this, and then there's a balcony just to the left there. And who appears on the balcony right while we're on the stage? It's Michael Jackson and Uri Geller. He's like a magician who does the famous spoon bending magician. He was his friend. And it just went wild. We finished the song and I was like, Michael, we just want to say you're the biggest inspiration. And like my voice is shaking and everything. We love you. And he's blowing kisses. And the crowd just went mental. And I remember my mum saying to everyone, like they had chaperones and my mum was one of them. And she was like, if Michael does come, everyone, you know, okay, stay calm, stay back. She went, wow, Michael. Everyone just like,
it's when you meet a person like that who's so...
He's like not real,
he's not real. Yeah, to a normal person, you think he's not real. Yeah. So
at the end of the performances, he came down and done a speech on the stage, and I was literally from a little bit further away from you to him. And I was so shocked at how tall he was and big framed. His hands were massive because he always just seemed so frail, didn't he? But no, and that still to this day, it's a surreal experience.
It must be, because obviously
it's caught on video. By the way, we have got this. Okay. We've got this footage on video. Yeah. Miguel always puts it on social media every once in a while, but
might be able to find it.
Yeah, and when sometimes Leanne will just go randomly to people, she sang for Michael Jackson, I'm like, oh yeah, because they're really going to believe
you. It's a huge thing, though. It's a massive thing because for any singer or anyone who has a passion for music, to be able to sing in front of Michael Jackson, I would say.
It's an icon, isn't it?
It's the pinnacle of being a singer.
Yeah.
Apart from your own career, that is one of the pinnacles to be able to do that.
It was a surreal experience, yeah.
And it'll live with you forever.
Live with me forever, yeah. And I'm glad we've got it on video.
I had to.
The proof, because who's going to believe you?
People wouldn't believe that because how big it actually is. But I had to add that in. But go on then.
So going back to that, I'd done the social sciences course there. Met Leona's dad. Came back home after all that. And then Flo moved to Russia, I think, when Leona was about 9. Flo's Leona's dad. For football, played football there. And he had another 2 children at this point. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it's his own reasons, then finances came to a halt. And you won't mind me saying that because that's what happened.
Be honest,
for whatever reason, that was his reason. And of course, at first it was hard. It was like, what am I going to do?
It's a shock, isn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, we had it out and then comes to a point where you're like, well, you've got to get off your arse, haven't you? You know, it's your child as well. You've got a brain. Do something with it. You've had a brain. Like, let's get this back into gear. And it was at that point that I kind of thanked him and was like, not like personally, but, you know, I thank him, and I still do now for because I wouldn't be where I was today now if I hadn't done that. Where would I be? You know, I've got ambition, I've got drive again. So I decided, right, that was it. What am I going to do? What am I good at? What's my personality? I want a good job, so it's a career that will last me, get me good money, you know, and help to provide with Leona. And I'm like, what am I as a person? Let's use all those things. So I thought, remember my social sciences course? So I went back. I'd left with 4 GCSEs, as I'd said. I'd no A-levels, didn't come out of drama school with any qualifications because I'd left and I went to join the band. So done a year access to HE, so that was sociology, criminology and psychology. And then I got accepted into uni to do criminology, and these were milestones. And when I got that first certificate for my access to HE, I was a bit like, wow, I've done something, and the confidence started growing. Done my degree in criminology, and I got to the last year, and I wanted to do forensic psychology because, as I said, really interested in why people do what they do. And then I realised how much maths was involved, and I can't do maths. And I was like, no, what could I be good at? Law. So I decided in that year, and I applied to do a conversion. So I added an extra year onto myself instead of just going straight to do law.
You found it
it's all about timing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly where it was meant to be. So
because it only looks in hindsight like, oh, could have done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Done my degree, done the graduation. It was great. I had Leanne there. So she was growing up. We were like studying together at this point.
Wow.
And she was growing up watching me do this. And she's a very ambitious kid herself. So we were like she was seeing me and I was seeing her. So instead of doing all these things before you have kids and just telling your kids about that, she was watching it, which was inspiring her.
So did she
as well.
Take that with her?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely, that.
Yeah. So then done my conversion into law, lockdown hit. So halfway through that, I think it was towards the end, all the exams became like remote.
Well, you said you done your bar course while it was COVID,
so then from there I had to apply to do the bar course. That whole course was remote, and that was in the second part of the lockdown in that November, that really horrible. The first one was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So over the summer, everyone was like, well, so it was hard. I think I was studying sometimes 14 hours a day. I remember my dad saying to me, Leanne, you've got to take a break. And I was like, you don't understand the amount of information I have to learn. I'm on the back foot here. I've done 1 year in law. I hadn't done a law degree. I'd done a law conversion, which isn't even a year. It's 9 months.
Wow. So you were playing catch up?
I had to hit the ground running. Some people who were on my course had been working in the industry. I had no work experience. It was locked down. I couldn't do anything alongside it. So I had to hit the ground running. And I done it, and I finished with a VC, which is like you can get a competent VC and then outstanding. My friend actually got outstanding, but she is outstanding. She's amazing, and I was really proud of that level that I managed to get. And then it come to that day when I got called to the bar, and it was a big ceremony in London. We were playing this organ in this church. I felt like I was on the set of Pirates of the Caribbean. What is going on? And it was that day that I thought, do you know what? I finally made my mum and dad proud. And I could see them beaming at me. My partner was there that day. Leona, again, watched this, and I just thought, I've got all these certificates on the wall now. Nobody, if relationships end, anything ends, nobody can take them. I've had relationships end in the past, and when you've had nothing and no low self-esteem, although you've got nothing to your name, they still take everything, and I can't really describe what I mean.
I get what you mean.
But when you've got something to your name that you've earned and they cannot take from you, it's the best feeling.
It's there, it's in paper, nobody can say
And I think that's
different.
kind of the art of learning to love with detachment as well, and learning to love yourself.
Well, that shows the hard work you put into it. That certificate shows the hard work. Even though you know, your daughter knows, that shows everybody else that's the hard work that you achieved,
So that was it. That was my foot into where I am today.
That's a great segue into law in general and wanting to become a barrister. So you said to me, a quote, there's so much talent, but they're missing out on it. Can we touch on this?
Yeah, I feel like it's a really archaic industry, profession. It totally needs, it just totally needs an overhaul. You've got people who've, been brought up with a lot of parents who are lawyers and solicitors and barristers. A lot of the time it filters down, and that's...
Like cherry picking in a way.
Yeah, but your kids will tend to go into that. Not all, obviously, but your kids will tend to go into that. So they've got legs up. They say it doesn't really happen now.
No, but it's like that in any industry. It's not what you know, it's who you know,
nepotism,
isn't it? Yeah.
But for the likes of... So if you look at like society and you look at people who can't afford to go to uni, I mean, the bar course was £12,000 alone.
Wow.
That's a lot of money, by the time, if you've got to go to uni and you've got to do get student loan for that, you're leaving with about 56 grand from that, aren't you? If you have to get maintenance and what have you. Then, like me, I done a conversion course that was £6,000 on top of that, and then I had to do the bar course, which was £12,000. Now, for someone from, I don't know, someone who's, lower wage group or whatever, a young kid whose parents are just...
It's a lot of money, of course,
it's an access barrier. It
With
really
not the
is.
100% knowing that you're going to actually be able to do it. Because before we carry on, I did a bit of research and I saw some huge, crazy stats, which will show the listeners how crazy that actually is money. So over 15,000 students graduate from law courses each year. Around 3,000 to 3,500 go on to take the bar course. So already that's a huge drop. But then only 500 to 600 are available for a pupillage.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's probably even lower than that.
Yeah.
I know there's like about 3,000 applicants and about 400 pupillages across the country. So it's a bit like a point system. So it's hard just to get past the application. So they have a point system. So if you went to uni and got a first, you get 3 points. If you got an upper second, you get 2 points. So if you've done whatever you've done your course in and, you're 21, you're drinking, you whatever, I'll just finish with an up 2-1, you're already on the back foot. It's hard. How do you want to be a barrister in 50 words? Why do you want to be a barrister, in 50 words? What are your interests? Let's put it this way, when you've got that many applicants and that many pupillages, you're only taking one pupil on. And it's to do with funding as well. You can cherry pick, can't you? You can pick what and how you want to come in there. And I just feel like in certain areas as well around the city and across the country, there's probably children sitting at home and thinking, I'd love to be a lawyer, but I'll get laughed at, or I don't think I'm good enough to do that, or because I'm from where I'm from, or how do I even do something like that? I had to research it all myself. I had to find out. And I was an older, mature student going back and doing it, and I had to, find the step. Pathway to it.
You hear so many people say, I want to be a lawyer when I grow up, but actually nobody ever says this is how you become a lawyer.
Yeah, because people don't understand. You go to uni, you do the bar course, or you do the LPC if you want to be a solicitor, and get a training contract. That's like the equivalent of a pupillage, but getting a pupillage is like giving your left lung.
Well, it's a 1.6 shot of making it, which is crazy.
The question is that a money-making thing? I don't know, because when I was doing the bar course, I also had to do an aptitude test to get onto the bar course, and that was £175 to do that. If you fail it, you have to just keep doing it and paying that money. I don't know. Maybe that's a controversial point.
It's controversial, but the facts we've just both bounced off, I would suggest that it is, because I think if someone's putting all that work in, they're not clever people. They put loads of hours of work in. They put thousands of pounds of money in. For them not to even have a decent chance of making it. I'm not saying you should definitely say, oh, you're 100% going to go into this.
Or it should be when you do the course and pay that much money for it. I think it's even more expensive in London. I think it's about 16,000.
I can imagine, yeah.
But when you do the course, there should be like a guaranteed pupillage at the end of it, and it'll stop so many people applying. Then that's maybe change it there so not so many people can get on the course, because it's so specific and so niche. If you've paid £12,000 for a bar course and you don't get a pupillage, what are you then doing with your life? You've got to go and pay for more training somewhere else and do something else. Yeah. It's just wrong.
And it's a waste of time as
well. Yeah, and I was getting, sorry to interrupt you, I was getting told, oh, because you're older, you're a mature student, you've lived life and, you've got all this experience. Write that down in your application form, it'll work well for you. In my experience, all really that gets taken on is young, fresh out of uni people.
Yeah.
For pupillages. So, I don't know. Something's amiss somewhere. So...
But yeah, no, I think that anyone who listens to us, who's wanting to go into law, who is into law, I think it'd be a really
I'd love
good
to connect with people who want it to change and just make the access, even if it means more access, more opportunities, as in work, or because even trying to get a job in the legal sector, all jobs are in house. Like you apply, and sometimes I've been too overqualified to be like a paralegal in some places. And
That's what I mean.
Yeah, what is this? Like, if I could have been a doctor by now, all the training that I've done, and you think to yourself, it's the most, if I've just gone in, I went in blind, and if I'd have known, only that I couldn't deal with,
hindsight,
touching people, I probably would have gone to be a doctor, but
I know what you mean, but I think it's really hard that they don't even give you the opportunity to go into another section. Like maybe that could be a case they could look at, or if a group of people could come together and think, there's just opportunities. So, okay, you don't make it as a barrister, but there's still there's opportunities given because you put time, money,
Yeah,
effort,
yeah,
everything into
definitely,
it.
yeah.
Just at least something.
Yeah, but I'd love if anyone's out there who wants to have a chat
Yeah.
about how we can try and, I don't know, a petition or something,
Yeah.
just get together a group of people who just say, like, this
Or
system
get
needs to
people
change, or how
thinking.
we
Yeah.
can do it, yeah. Or help even.
Yeah.
Do you know what? And some barristers I met were lovely when I was waiting to be qualified and stuff, and they were like, they know how hard it is, so they're like, if anything I can do, but there's not much anyone can do. But they'll give you so much information or put you into someone else or tell you what you need to know. But I'd love to reach back down and help anyone, anywhere that I could, who wants to go in law, because it's not easy.
I can imagine. No, that's great. And I think a lot of people will get good info from that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to then youth life. You said to me there's huge pressure on the youth. Can we touch on this?
Yeah, it's just, I think I'm from that generation now that's lived where there was no phones, no social media. You went out, you played with your friends, you had to be back when your mum told you to be back. There was just trust there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
You know, you rung your mate in the phone box and said, I'll meet you in town, blah, blah, blah. And you had to be there. Nowadays, the pressure to look good, to act a certain way, to be in all these places that, you know, you've got to be at Glastonbury, you've got to be in Ibiza by the time you're 18, and obviously you don't have to be, but that's the pressure of the FOMO, like we was talking about before. And I'm seeing both, and as I say, I used to go out when you'd have no, I think when I started going out, it was first like phones, but you had big aerials on, hello. And you had to have a service pack, you had to buy service packs. 30 days or your phone had just cut off, funny times. Yeah, going back to that, I was just so, I've always had that conversation because my daughter, she acts, she's an actress, and she went on a quite a bit of a popular show on CBBC at a young age, and she wanted to do the whole social media thing, and I had to have the conversation with her about, you are going to get people who are going to comment on you, and they did, and saying things, and you have to be prepared for that, because out of all those comments telling you you're gorgeous and you're so talented and this and that, you'll focus on the what have you got on it? Your nose is massive, and you're going to have to learn to deal with that. So
that happens everywhere. It's in life, we focus on the negative more than the positive, but if you can deal with it, then you become near enough invincible. I know you might still affect you, but if you can regulate the emotions to deal with it, then you're in a good place. So do you think you helped her with that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
She does. I mean, even now, I think it's good for all of us to take a break from social media every now and again. I think even though it's a snippet of people's highlights.
It just shows the good moments, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of real people. A lot of people are being real out there, but they get ripped for that, don't they? So I do tend to gravitate towards people who I know are more authentic, and that's what I want to see on my Instagram. I enjoy that more than what you know is not false, because it's obviously not false. They're living their moments, are they? But they're only showing their moments. No one's life's perfect. And we will see someone's perfect Instagram and still buy into that.
And then judge yourself off that. Which
a lot of people will do that.
Yeah.
I don't. I never have. I've never bought into it like that, because I'm a realist anyway. I'm not negative. I'm not positive. I'm just a realist. So I just say but that's real life, isn't it? So I do feel sorry for even your age group. I just do. I feel sorry I think there's pressure on you to...
I think I've everything now as well. I think that's a huge pressure that we've seen, because we see all this amazing stuff on social media. It's like, I've got to get this now. I've got to be at this point in my career.
But even designer stuff's just nothing.
I know, that's what I mean.
There's young people walking around with really expensive bags and stuff, isn't there? And then other young people are seeing that and thinking, how can I get that, and where can I get it from?
I've got to have that. Which is so sad. Because when you were younger, you'd know your circle and your local community, and you'd maybe see people when you'd go into the city centre. But now you can see people all around the world with whatever they've got, and
traveling where they travel, and there is, as we've said before, there is people who only put that up, the holidays, the nights out, never the same outfit twice, and it's tough, isn't it? It's tough on people who haven't got that as well, and that's fine for people who have, and no one can bash them if that's what they want to do and choose to do. But I do always think about how hard it must be for people who haven't got. But I suppose you have to be content with what you've got, don't you? It comes and it goes, that lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I also loved when you said, Made mistakes in 20s, learned in 30s, life starts at 40.
100%.
I love this.
Just that. I remember being on holiday when it was my dad's 40th birthday. We were in Gran Canaria and thinking he was old. And here I am at 44, like, still acting like I'm 16. It's bizarre. Yeah. 20s, definitely, as I said to you earlier on, you think you've got time, you think you're invincible, you know, and why not? You're in that era, you know, live your life, you know, it's the time to make mistakes, isn't it? And learn from the mistakes, not regret them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then when I got to my 30s, it was like, I think in your 20s, you repeat it over and over and over, and you don't learn the lesson. In your 20s, it's kind of like you make the mistake and you learn the lesson. You start growing up a little bit. I think your 30s are hard because 29, 30 sounds old, doesn't it? Like, so I think turning 30 is harder than turning 40 because they all sound the same then, yeah. But there's expectations on people to turn 30. Yeah, because then it's like kids, marriage, house, your career should be like this at this point.
Like you've got to fit into a block then. It's like a narrative that everybody's in.
But I am living, breathing proof that that is not true, and I've done everything back to front. You know,
and you still had a great life and
career comes, So if anyone's out there worrying, or even if people are stuck in a career where they're thinking, I hate this career and I want to get out of it, do it. Get out of it, do it, make the change. Life's too short. For me, life's too short to be unhappy in anything. Relationships, jobs, clothes, whatever. Just, it is, life's too short. So, and then I got to 40 and people say life begins at 40 and I have never heard a truer saying. Honest to God, like I genuinely like myself now. I like who I am. I'm happy with myself. I've set boundaries.
Well, I think I've got confidence. Yourself, don't you?
Yeah, you know, this is what I'm saying. I know what my flaws are. I know what my good qualities are. And I strive to be a better person all the time. And I don't think you should ever stop trying to be a better person. And I don't think you should ever stop learning neither. Not a single day should go by where you should teach yourself something.
I totally agree with that, yeah.
Even if it's nonsense, you might be able to answer the question on the chase.
Yeah, but still.
Might come up.
Whatever it is, you need to learn valuable lessons, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I think that was a really good point there. So I got in touch with your cousin, Miguel.
Yeah.
And I basically asked him his point of view on you. So,
oh, goodness me. You couldn't have asked a better person.
So I'm going to read it out to you and see your reaction live and see what you think of
I'm laughing already.
But before we start, if he's watching this, I had to shorten it. I'll be able to show you the full length, but it was, long paragraphs.
He's like, how many years
have we got? It could have been nearly each year you'd known each other for a story. But I had to condense it, but I think it's really good. So, Leanne has always been my ride or die. Though I'm the oldest, she's been the true leader of the pack. She's fiercely loyal, but yet honest. She'll love you deeply if you make it into a world, defending you when you're not there, but never sugarcoating the truth when you need to be heard from it. Leanne's strong, independent, and unapologetically herself. Her unique taste, sharp mind, and unstoppable drive makes her unforgettable. She's a mix of her mum and dad, goofy and serious, logical and random. And as a mum herself, she's nothing short of incredible. Creative, passionate, and utterly unique. If Leanne's with you, she's with you for life, but cross her and she'll cut you off without hesitation.
True Scorpio. Aww, he's adorable, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the words are lovely because it shows all...
It sounds almost like a poem.
It does, doesn't it?
Can we get these? I want to get them put on a frame.
But no, it's lovely words and it really tells you.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
He's my best friend. He can finish my sentence. He just knows. There'll be a look that'll pass between me and him, and he just knows. He knows. I don't know what it is or why, but we've just always been like that.
No, that's lovely.
Since we were kids.
It's lovely to have somebody like that who you just click and you just get.
Leonard always says that. You know, I wish I had someone like you and Miguel, and I wish I was the way you were.
But anyway. I've got a closing tradition on the podcast and it's called The Walk Away. And the question is, if somebody walked a day in your shoes, what's one lesson they'd learn?
Oh, I think I'm going to have to say, don't take anything for granted. I think the life experiences that I've had, things come and things go. People, dogs, money, it comes and it goes. And I think I've had to learn to be with my experiences. You just never know the minute. One phone call can change your life and the loved one's gone.
Of course.
And I just don't think we take, I think this generation spends a lot of time worshiping people they don't even know, and the real role models are right in front of them, the parents, the grandparents, the friends. Support your friends more, support your friends' businesses more, like clap for them, you know. Don't take them for granted, because not everyone's around forever, and that goes with anything.
That's lovely. And I think that's the perfect way to end the podcast. So I want to say a huge thank you for being so open, and I appreciate your time. So thank you.
But thank you for having me.
If you could like, share or subscribe to this channel, you don't know how much this would mean to me. It'll allow me to connect with so many more amazing people who I'll be able to get on as guests, which will benefit me, but it'll also benefit you by the value they can give you. So if you could do this, I would much appreciate it. Thank you.